when you get stickers for your birthday and you really wanted an action figure, and even though stickers are nice or whatever, you just don't want them. And it's a painful gift because whoever gave it to you, they don't get you. They don't understand who you are, because if they knew who you are, they would have got you the action figure instead of getting you stickers, leaving you all alone in the world because no one understands who you are. The core of having a relationship is to understand the other person. And any acts that you do for that person in the relationship is an expression of your relationship with that person. And if you get it right, so then that expression can be a revelation of the relationship and a showing of to the other person that, I get you, I see you, and the relationship can grow through it. But then getting that wrong will then put a strain on the relationship, as the other person has the pain of not being seen, of not being heard, of their own mother, child, spouse has no idea who the hell they are. So thus it is with the torah and the mitzvahs. The torah is learning about God and having the relationship with God, and the mitzvahs are the expression of that relationship. Therefore, you're always going to have machloket. That the way that you learn the mitzvah, and then you express the mitzvah the way that you understand God, and that Elokim is in the plural. That everyone relates to God in different ways, and therefore the way that their relationship is going to come out differently. And therefore the way that they do the mitzvah is going to be different to the other way where the other guy does the mitzvah. And to be screaming at the other guy because he's not doing the mitzvah the way that you would do the mitzvah is like screaming at the guy taking his wife to a restaurant that you don't like. Now, if they like the restaurant and they're having a great time there, and then you just go into the restaurant berating them because you don't like the restaurant, because that's not how you want to relate to your wife. The machloket is coming from the infinity of God, and everyone has their own relationship with God because God is infinite, and everybody knows something about God that no one else knows, and they have that relationship with God that no one else has, and therefore the relationship will come out in a different way. So in the Shema Echad, that God is one, so therefore you're just in this infinity. And everything can be true at the same time, but when you hit to then you're getting into physicality, and therefore you can only do one thing. You're in the space-time continuum, and you're restricted to only being in one place at one time. And therefore it has to come out just in one way. But in the world of Echad, therefore it can come out in multiple ways. So every halacha is true in a space and time. However, is this our space? Is this our time? So you're coming from the world of infinity, all the different ways and all the different people and all the different ways of attaching to God. And then as it comes out, well, what exactly do we do? So I'll have machloket in the poiskim. He says, we poskim this way. Well, there's a machloket in the poiskim. Why is there a machloket in the poiskim? Because everyone has a different way to relate to God. Everyone has a different way in order to express their relationship with God. And if your God's one way, so therefore when how this is what he would want. If he would want to sit in a sukkah, this is how he would do it. Someone else would say, no, you're an Apikoursis. There's only one sukkah that God would sit in, and this would be my sukkah. And everybody is so like the fact that there's different ways to have relationships, therefore there has to be machloket. And the ideas of, well, why is there machloket? Everything came from Moshe, but we forgot stuff. It's all coming from the idea that the Torah is not a relationship. And the point in Torah is just to just a framework in order for me to give you stuff. So therefore, put some leather straps in your head, and I'll give you some treats. Which, again, in essence, just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And it's like a joke. Like, what is this joke? The tefillah has no intrinsic value other than a hamster wheel that I can get treats from. So why is there a machloket in how to get your treats? God told Moses how to get treats. Well, what's the big deal? Early Torah being a relationship, and then for learning the Torah is a relationship that transcends time, because it's just like you can learn about the korbanos. It's like you brought a korban, but there's no Beis Hamikdash, because you're transcending time, you're transcending all the worlds. You're in that level of echad. Therefore, with all that oneness, it can't just be one thing that comes out of there. So when it comes into how it expresses itself in a physical world, maybe it expresses itself in one physical entity in a time-space continuum, but per force it has to come from an infinite source, and therefore per force you have to have multiple ways to relate to God and ways to have that relationship with God, and therefore you're always going to have machloket. Machloket it's a feature. It's not a glitch. So you learn the halacha and then you do the mitzvah comes to Maisa, and then this is how I think this expression of my relationship is the mitzvah in which I'm doing. Therefore, this is how I think that God would want this to happen. So you're buying your kid a birthday present. It's just an expression of your relationship, and then you hope you get it right. And the more you know your kid, therefore the more you'll get it right. And the less you know the kid, and the more you're just into yourself and buying stuff because you like them. So therefore you're more likely to miss the target and ruin the relationship. Now, how do you get to know God? Is you learn the Torah. And therefore, the point of learning Torah, a lot of people say, well, you learn Torah because I need to know what to do. It doesn't need to do with what to do. It's to do with who's God. What does he want? What would he do? Who is he? And if you're learning sugyas, they're really nothing to do with your day-to-day or your what you need to know in the world. If you're learning Kedushin, and you just go, it's very simple. You go into the chuppah and do what the guy tells you. You don't need to know these things. But if you want to know God, then you need to know them. It's the only way in order to get to know God, in order to have that relationship so it can be expressed in the mitzvahs, even the mitzvahs you're not doing. So through your sukkah, you'll have an expression of your relationship which you had in Kedushin. Because all Torah is just a invitation to get to know God. Who am I? Can you see me? So learning bonus is, yes, God, I can see you. Even though if you're not a Kohen, it will never come to Lamaisa mitzvah. It will come out in every other mitzvah you do, because it will fundamentally change your relationship with God, because you understand him and who he is on a completely different level. And this is why Bittul is so important, because a lot of people learn Torah where I know everything already, and therefore whenever something doesn't fit my box, I will just bring it into my box and it will change. Well, because they're saying another for everything to fit, and that everything is good and like a shmak. So if you know who your son is, and then whatever he tells you, you're not listening to it, because I'm just going to fit whatever you're saying into who I already think you are. And if you're somebody different, if you've changed, if I've changed, nothing doesn't matter. We're sure of yourself, and you have all your boxes already taken, and you're just going through life every day, just going through the motions. Everything has to fit to what you already have. You're not open to breaking your paradigms. You're not open to having a new look at everything. So therefore the bittul is the most important thing, in order that you open up to what's being said. Every daf of the Gemara is a new chiddush, is a new divinity. It's just repeating itself. So then what's the point of having that daf in there? So doing the Daf Yomi, and it's just another thing that I already know, another thing I already know. It's just new information, and then I'll just fit it in my box. So therefore, your mitzvahs will come out. You're not developing the relationship. Your wife's trying to tell you something. Your kid's trying to tell you something. You only have the kelim to listen, because you know already. You're such a Talmid Chacham. So without the bittul, without the ability to listen, and then you're not going to hear anything. So another part of how that relationship develops and how your mitzvah comes out is your koyach hashmiya. Can you actually listen to what God is saying, or you have to fit it into something that you picked up 20 years ago?